What?
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 Oh god. No, Kitty, don't steal my seat.
Welcome back to Story Manifestors Halloween Devil Takeover. If you didn't see last week's episode, what are you doing? Go back to heaven.
Heaven?
Yes, because we're in hell.
What?
You're in hell right now. I'm saying go back to heaven.
What about Earth?
Fine! Back to Midgard! In other words, Earth. Otherwise, welcome to part 2 of the Save the Cat tutorial from hell.
Was that our whole intro?
Are you not sitting down yet? Come on, we have
okay,
a show to do.
Wait, but we need to do the thing.
The thing? Hello?
Hello.
Oh yes, the void.
The void. The void needs to see us.
Sit.
otherwise it just-
I need to make sure you're in
thought-
frame.
Okay, well, this time we're just going to make fun of them for an hour, correct?
No, we have the whole cat teaching thing.
But I thought, okay. Hi, dear students, you're still alive. All of you.
Some of you.
All of you.
More than all of you.
Oh, we've got new students.
Yes.
Strap right in, this method is a little bit strange
Oh,
anyway,
strap on.
so... haha.
Haha.
Do you want some tea this time? You're not getting any.
No, it'll short circuit you.
I can pour without looking.
If you burn my non-existent hand, you are in for such a treat.
A halo?
No. A pain low. What?
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 Joke.
Ah.
Now pay attention, dear.
I'm opening my cat document.
Now pay attention, dear. She hasn't changed.
No.
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 That's what hell does to you. Oh, we got a cat this time.
No.
Meow.
No.
We were working through the first 5 beats last time. We went through the opening image. Oh my goodness, you have it open, so help me. The opening image.
I don't have it written down what they are.
Why not?
The presentation of theme.
The theme. Distract them with the cat while I bring it up. No, bring the cat into the picture. The people are weak. They just want to see fur. You cats.
When I was alive, I just wanted to see fur as well.
Cat.
Are you opening the video? Why are you opening the video?
I'm just because
What is the goal of opening the video?
the last video has a lot of really good links, including the sources we used last time. So, also sources.
She's opening the damn video.
Also sources to vote, so that all of you figure out how to make sure you don't turn this place into hell.
Fair.
So do that. Check that.
Don't vote on an idiot.
I think idiot is a bit of an understatement, dear. So,
Thank you.
opening image, theme stated, setup, catalyst, and debate. All
Oh,
of
did
that
you remember that?
By heart. Yes, I didn't look at anything.
By hard.
By heart. That's why I've forgotten you. I just need to put all this other stuff into my heart.
Why do you have me in your heart? Is it from the dagger I left there?
I thought we had a thing going. Oh, yes, the dagger. Of course, the dagger. The dagger.
We're
So
very
wrong.
will there, won't they? You can't just say it.
I know, I'm establishing, look, now we just established betrayal, and in the 3rd episode we can, like, figure out if will they or won't they. Dear, they won't see you. I know you're trying to look edgy, but... Edgy. No, it's so curious. It's a Bob again. Bob! This video has really everything. The Google Docs is also in it. past us are great. What happened since?
Torture.
Yes.
We had to read the 50 Shades of Grey sequels.
Have dinner with me.
Okay, fine. I will have dinner with you. Because I'm hungry.
Pay attention and get us out of hell! I'm not entirely sure where I cut this, but cut!
Cut!
Ah!
Cut!
Ah!
Cut!
Blood! I have the vampire turtle on my side!
I have the antelope.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. So we have the... Oh yes, and we were doing the Monster in the House genre. Our monsters are the Polterjaw, a poltergeist that possesses people by unlocking their jaw and making them devour whatever living thing is near.
And the Dead Podermis, living skin that possesses people.
A house, meaning an enclosed space that can include a family unit, entire town, or even the world. And ours is a collapsed coal mine and...
A subway.
which we will return to eventually. And then capitalist greed is our sin. A sin,
And capitalist disregard for safety.
Yes, because we're the same person. Someone is guilty of bringing this monster in... Shh.
The sin is what the person who brought the monster into existence is guilty of.
A transgression that can include ignorance.
We are now on to steps 6 through 10.
So just to go back real quick, in the coal mine, we had Calvin, Rodney, and the little girl Lillian, and Calvin's dead wife Annabelle as characters. Calvin, Rodney, and Lillian are currently in the mine. A person had a dynamite stick in their mouth, exploded, the mine exploded. Calvin's like, oh no, I pressured my wife into pregnancy and having a family and then she died and now I brought my daughter into a mine shaft and am I a good dad? Probably not. That's where we're at the coal mine.
You know, all very standard things.
Yes. How they say, an everyday Wednesday in hell. Will you subs the subway story?
Synopsize the subway
Yes.
story. In the subway story, a businesswoman got possessed by the dead Podermis. Afterwards, we then cut to our dear main character, Jill, who is a anti-cap artist. She goes back to meet up with a ragtag band of misfits living in a warehouse. Mark, his boyfriend, John, Brenda, Erica, and Jacqueline, who were a polythrouple.
And Jill's
And Jill's partner, Solitaire. It turns out that, Erica is possessed by the dead Podermis. Erica is possessed by the dead Podermis and gets the cops to come raid the warehouse. They try to kill Erica to reveal that she's a monster, possessed by a monster.
Monster?
And then they escape down a hole. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be going steps 6 through 10
Yes.
of Save the Cat, but as a little spin on the genre.
Spin the cat.
We are going-
the cat.
We are each going
Spin
to...
the cat.
We are each
We're
going...
spinning the cat.
I will spin your head.
Okay. Ah!
Ouch!
What?
You stabbed my hand!
You touched
You harlot!
me.
No, I didn't!
You were thinking about it.
So, what we're going to do is we're going to each pick one of the 5 beats in 6 through 10, and offer it to the other one to do, all in a willy wonky, missy matchy order.
Yes, exactly. And that's where we're going to be learning about the different beats while also screwing each other over. And we love that here. And you students can take notes, write a story of your own, and please find yourself a dead person to play this game with and see if you can interpret which step they want you to do next. So basically just find a ghost and do what they tell you to do.
Yes. Ghosts are friendly.
Especially when they're from hell.
Hell ghosts are friendliest.
Purgatory.
Purgatory.
Love.
Look, look,
Love, love.
look, look,
Love, love.
look, look.
Love, love.
So, our 5 options of choice are break into 2, B story, fun and games. Midpoint.
Oh, so organically.
Bad guys close in.
Bad guys close in.
We're the bad guys. Huh.
Duh.
Also organically.
This game idea was coming from you, so why don't you pick the first next step for me and then we can read what it is. I'm starting with the... Oh, wait. Do you get the subway or the call story?
I get the subway as I started the subway, and you get the call as you
Ah.
start the call. I'm going to start by fucking you royally. Midpoint.
Oh, thank you. That's great. I like the midpoint. I'm gonna fuck you more. Fun and games.
Okay. Let's find out what they are.
Yes. Beat 9 out of 15 is the midpoint. At some point, your protagonist will either get what they're after or not. But there will be consequences either way. There's always consequences. There's always consequences. So that's the midpoint, dear students. And
Fun and
games, which will be yours.
Number 8 of 15. Fun and games. Thankfully, the Save the Cat beat sheet template is not just all work and no play. Your plot structure requires a stretch where your protagonist wields their new power and does cool stuff with it.
So they have a power now and they do cool stuff with it.
Cool.
Cool.
Cool. Shall we?
We weren't snuggling.
No! Look at her, smiling like a cat with a biscuit. Who gave a cat a biscuit? And without gravy? How dare they? How dare they give this cat a biscuit with no gravy? Cats aren't supposed to have biscuits, let alone without gravy. And look at how it happens. They munch on tea cats.
Biscuit.
Gravy.
Midpoint and fun and games starting now. So apparently when I write the whole story, I actually care about not fucking myself over on the other points. You should take this personally.
I'm going to ruin her. I'll figure it out.
Oh fuck, I forgot we're doing like screenplays. What am I with all this inner monologue? Whoops. Robot. I'm definitely showing once more that I have no idea how to do this.
What's what called? Wood planks? Planks, yes, wooden planks.
Done.
Oh boy. No boy.
Are you just writing the midpoint and not like a synopsis? You can't just write a chapter right now.
do synopses.
You can't just write a chapter. That's like a 20-minute affair.
Okay, I'll change myself.
I love this about you.
Excuse me, I can barely remember by heart what this is all about. Don't try to weasel your way in there.
I slap her hands at the keyboard and produce nothing. She literally types the sentence out of mine.
It's not a chapter!
Are you sure?
I'm summarizing it now. Go away.
How many
Go away.
words are you at? Audience, I'm going to get her word count when she's done with this. And I'm guessing right now it's going to be double mine.
Stop it! So, do you want to know my word count, do you?
Yes.
3,
No.
4,
No.
15.
No.
Sometimes grown-ups need to lie.
You're stalling.
You wanted tea, okay?
You're stalling.
I am just being very friendly towards you. Much friendlier than my contract says I have to be.
Friendly stalling.
And my word count is...
It might not be as high as I think it is because those are big.
277, not that high.
168.
That's less than double.
It is, you're right.
Funny game.
Fun and games. We watch from the monster's perspective as it moves lithely like a panther, unnaturally smooth. We cut to Erica inside the monster. We hear her bones breaking as the creature moves.
What?
She screams
That's
in
not fun
pain.
at all.
The teeth eating her, absorbing her. A portal opens in front of her eyes. It is an endless black void. A voice calls to her in a sing-song. Why does the world just hate my friend? We should be marching hand in hand. Why are the ocean levels rising up? Was it not better in 1890? Bring back the old world once again.
Wait, it was not better in 1890.
That's the point, yes. It's a portal inside the monster.
Oh no. It got me with the song.
Yes. She seems hypnotized and suddenly she gets flushed into the hole as she nods yes to escape the pain. We see Erica's body from the front as it hunches over. Her head splits open like an egg sac, spitting out the actual Erica in a powerful suit. She grins wide and we see her skin ripple around her. She's become a new monster. The old one reforms into the homeless man.
Ew, yay. Ew,
UA?
yay. That's... Okay, well that, my dear students, is a beautiful description of gore and someone who edits this class needing to put trigger warnings out into the description.
Oh
And-
dear, I'm sorry.
No. It's really good, but it's not fun and games at all.
Fun and games is described as we see the character's new powers and they do cool shit with it. I'm interpreting this as we see the monster's powers as they do intense shit with it. This is fun and games.
I mean, I feel like you're making your monster your main character, but I mean,
In a good horror movie, the monster is the main character because they're the symbol of what we're learning from.
the main character should not be the symbol of a good story. The character's struggles, arc, and journey is where the symbolism lies.
Monster.
Oh, I won. Slain.
Slain. Your turn!
Okay.
Go!
Midpoint. The leg hurts like hell, but Calvin isn't showing it. Not after Rodney showed him up like that, making her laugh while the world around them is crumbling. It was an irresponsible thing to do, and Calvin knew it. He knew it wasn't his jealousy that led him, but his good judgment. At least they're walking again now. The air is getting thinner in the shafts. Rodney has started coughing again. Daddy, why is the ground so see-through? Calvin doesn't answer and picks her up instead. She doesn't need to know about the deeper mine, the accident that happened there years ago, his company's poor cover-up. The planks underneath them almost seem like flooring. She should just accept them as such. Rodney's probably going to tell her that it's see-through because her daddy makes bad choices, but he'll show Rodney. He speeds up and the three make their way over the precarious planked floor until they reach a crossing. Rodney heads towards the right shaft without even slowing down. He reminds Calvin it leads to the underground break room. Calvin hesitates, because he believes the left way could lead upwards. He's not sure, but he really doesn't want to go with Rodney's option. They get into an argument and Rodney tries to take Lillian from his arm. Calvin runs with her down the left path instead. After a while, Calvin looks over his shoulder to check if Rodney is still chasing them. Lillian screams, but it's too late. He stumbles over a rock and they tumble down a half-planked hole. It takes Calvin a moment to regain consciousness. Then he hears, "Daddy? Daddy, my jaw hurts."
Ooh, I can't believe you killed a child.
I did not kill the child yet.
The child is possessed. It's good as dead. It.
Okay, I'm not writing like very graphic gore here yet, so you know, it might not be.
You don't have fun and games yet.
Remind me to never have fun with you. Or play games.
You should see how I play Monopoly.
Capitalist greed.
Go fish.
Universal income! Sorry, I got possessed there by an angel.
Yes, good angel. Cute angel. Let's select a new beat for each other.
Yes, I have to say, I'm like really grateful that I'm very grateful that you selected one that I actually know very well how to do.
I figured I'd give you a start seeing as you're writing chapters.
Consequences.
You get Break Into 2 next.
No, I was picking that for you.
Okay. I do Break Into 2 next. You get to do Bad Guys Close In.
Alright.
Alright, Break Into 2 is Beat 6, Break Into 2. Inevitably, your protagonist will overcome his or her doubt and make a choice to set out on their adventure. This is the choice that officially sets the plot in motion. From here on out, your Save the Cat beat sheet template will be filled with obstacles and twists resulting from making this choice. 10. Bad Guys Close In.
After your protagonist gets what they want, or not, there will be consequences. These forces will tighten their grasp and throw the protagonist off balance. These forces don't necessarily have to be actual antagonists, it can also be fighting with the protagonist's circle. Ah!
Closing in!
Ah!
Closing in!
You're my circle.
Circle. Of course I'm your circle. You don't get to go anywhere else. Nothing happened!
Nothing.
What am I writing?
Break Into 2.
Yes. The cat is saved because he's snoring.
Snoring!
And nothing can save you.
I feel like this whole movie that I'm writing out could just be happening in Calvin's mind. And I also feel like Calvin's mind is capitalist greed.
Damn, that's deep.
I really wish I knew anything about mines and mining. Like at least you have subways and we live in New York, so you've seen one before.
Why'd you pick a mine?
To undermine you.
You just undermined yourself.
I knew.
Looks like you've struck the main vein.
Mine.
What a gold mine. What a gold mine. Mine. Mine! You're a gold mine. Correct.
I am horrifying.
Yes, you are. That's why you're here. In hell. And that's why you're the instructor.
In hell!
Only you can warn them what you will become if you don't study your literary craft well. Literary
Are
craft.
you writing a chapter again?
No, I'm done. It's a literary craft like Save the Cat and all the other good crafts. You will become her. Okay. What's your word count, huh?
I will admit this is one of my longer ones.
I know, and I'm done already.
As am I.
215 on my side.
243.
Ha! Ha! Oh, revenge! Revenge, it tastes like water! Refreshing. I have no room for you here. Go tell me a story. Or am I starting?
I'll start. Bad guys close in. We go to the main party as they are running through the abandoned subway section they escaped into. Solitaire and John are breathing hard, not much of runners while the rest of the group argues. They had escaped, but they don't know what to do. They didn't have anyone to get back to, a group of outcasts bonding over mutual abandonment. Jill sits on the track and starts crying. Solitaire grabs her shoulders and tells her, "It will be alright." They had all come out of deeper trouble. We see the homeless man climb onto an abandoned subway train. The group starts arguing as they hear Erica singing, "Why does the world just hate my friends? Let's start marching hand in hand." Mark runs towards her. Jill hears the sound of an oncoming train. Brenda shrieks at Mark and John to get down. John is begging Mark to stop running towards Erica as the train gets closer. Jill and the others roll into the safety divot to go under the train. At the last second, Erica's form ripples and presses flat to the wall. Solitaire tackles John into the divot, and Mark gets splattered by the train. It passes, and the homeless man gets out at the next station. Mark is screaming, broken on the ground. Erica sucks him in, and her skin ripples as she becomes him, his screaming form briefly seen and heard under the skin.
Oh god!
We're writing war movies.
No!
Yes, we are.
I was gonna say you can't have the gay guy die first, but also all your characters are queer, so...
Literally all of them are queer.
That is a very interesting thing though, that I struggle with as well in my book. Like, if you have a really big, diverse LGBTQ...
Are you in character right now, dear?
Ah, Angel. Okay, let me just finish my point real quick. So if you have a really big LGBTQ cast, can you then... Oh god, demons! She left. You
I'm
didn't
sure
fight
she'll
her,
make a
did
video.
you?
I attempted to.
You attempted to?
I attempted to.
Trump.
Am I a troll if I failed? Stop hiding my curtain!
I just checked the recording and your face is missing half of the time.
Do you see my bruises?
Yes. They're there and there. This little thing is not gonna work.
To cover this eye. This sad little eye.
Okay. Well, that was really good there. Very dramatic. Very good.
Go ahead.
Very good chase.
The enemies have closed in.
But also, poor Mark. He first he had to throw up. No, then he got splattered by a train.
Mark's in a
and
bad
it's like,
shape.
Poor Mark.
Dying.
Yes.
It's a bad shape.
So, the last point that we were at was, the mine had exploded and Rodney's call snapped him back into present, Calvin get moving, and he was running after Calvin and Lillian. Break into 2. Calvin catches up with Rodney and starts strategizing. He's been a summer camp counselor before. He knows how to plan things. And it's important that he comes up with a rescue plan. The boss would think of Rodney as a good employee, and it wouldn't be fair, provided of course they all make it out here alive, which they will, thanks to him.
I hate this man.
Calvin tells them they need to get into the wider parts of the mine where oxygen will last longer and rescue tubes are more likely to find them. There's another lift on the northern side of the mines that goes up to the mountain. If they keep a swift step... Are you reading along?
No.
Then look at the people. They get bored.
They could never get bored watching you.
If they keep a swift step, they could get there in about 4 hours. Lillian is crying throughout all of it. Rodney tries to translate Calvin's instructions into child-friendly explanations, but it's better if she doesn't understand. Rodney also takes Calvin aside and asks him what he thinks about the dislocated jaw and the dynamite. Calvin hesitates. He doesn't know what to make of it. He doesn't know how to deal with it. But for Annabelle's and Lillian's sake, he will deal with the situation. So he tells Rodney that he has no idea what he's talking about. The explosion must have messed with your head, Rod.
Idiot.
Yes. Wasn't, like, ignorance part of the sin? That's not the sin I picked, but you know.
It was a suggested sin.
Tying in the suggestions?
Time to pick our next points, no?
Oh, yes!
Alright, then I believe I'll throw fun and games at you.
You didn't go away, I almost actually bit your face. Oh, I'm getting fun and games. Okay, I've already sort of written... Devil!
I'll behave.
You get the midpoint.
Oh! What's the midpoint again?
Start! The midpoint. At some point, your protagonist will either get what they're after or not. But there will be consequences either way. And funny games. Funny games. Thankfully, the Save the Cat beat sheet template is not just all work and no play. Your plot structure requires a stretch where your protagonist wields their new power and does cool stuff with it. Cool stuff. Stuff that will chill you to your bones.
Good luck.
No, that's what you chilled me.
I know,
You
it's
chilled
good luck
me. You
meeting
said chill,
me.
as the students say.
Picture pixelated sunglasses. And like that like stoner rap, you know, like the
Bing.
Go!
Go! What would you call this?
Heft. Shake. Bounce.
Bounce?
Bounce.
Like with a kid, playfully?
Yeah, playfully bounce.
Was it Jack or John? So was it Jack or John? John. It could be John. Thank you.
Okay. Ah, it fell! No! My cake! My cake!
It's gone.
No, it's gross! It's falling apart! It's falling apart!
Slay.
Disgusting! This truly is a Halloween episode now! Ah!
Done!
Yeah, I got a little distracted by something.
She's going to lose.
Oh.
There's no winners. They're the losers.
You bunch of losers.
Tell me your midpoint.
The gang stands ankle deep in sewage. They have been unable to escape the monster's pursuit in the sewer pipes that they escaped down. It's filthy and stinks. They finally come upon a runoff vent that leads into the subway. They can hear gnashing teeth and skin echo through the sewers.
Oh.
It sounds as if it might have doubled since last they heard it. Sirens also vaguely can be heard above, showing they can't go up yet. Jack and Mark tear at the grate, fighting to rip it free. Finally, John has had enough. He fires his last bullet into the lock, breaking it free. They're out of ammo, but hopefully free.
No, John, you need that ammo to save Mark!
It had taken 4 shots to put down Jacqueline. Now they had no idea how to handle Erica.
Wait a second, but you just messed up the names. Erica was the possessed one.
I know.
Why did they shoot Jacqueline?
Yeah, that goes back to my step 5. Jacqueline was being devoured when they escaped.
Sorry, I forgot about that. Jacqueline and Erica are dead?
Yes, and soon to be Mark.
Poor Brenda. Good job, good
Is
job.
Brenda still alive? For fuck's
Brenda's
sake?
still alive. You only killed 3 people so far. Now I understand why you introduced so many characters. I'm just killing the child.
Help!
Fun end games. Okay, so this comes after...
Wait, sorry.
Yes.
Brenda's eaten, not Jacqueline. My bad.
Brenda's eaten. Oh,
Yes, Brenda got devoured
okay.
and possessed and now killed.
Fun end games. So, the B story is not in there yet, but this comes after Calvin gaslighting Rodney.
Cool.
Cool, we love that shit here. Funny games. Rodney starts coughing after a few minutes and Calvin silently curses him for it. It made Lillian think she has to cough too, and now she can't stop. Calvin bounds her in her arm, trying to calm her down, but her coughing only intensifies. Let's stop, Rodney says, still wheezing himself. We must have made 5 miles already, and Lillian needs a moment. She needs a moment of fresh air is what she needs. Fresh air she'll get when we get up there. When we're up there. He tries to push on, but Lillian shakes her head. No, Daddy, now. Calvin sighs and sets her down. He's a good dad. He listens to her. Rodney gives her the last sip of his water and starts telling her a story about the tiny coal pixies that live between the stones. Lillian gets really intrigued by his stories, and they search the area for the pixies with their random tickle attacks. She stops coughing and after a few minutes starts giggling. Calvin watches for a moment with his arms crossed. If they want to rest, they should rest and not search for stupid pixies. Then he stands up and kicks a few loose-seeming stones to discover a possible path upwards. A sharp edge catches his thigh, leaving a long gash. He gives up the search and tells the others to keep moving.
What was the power? You give me so much shit about fun and games and there's not even a power being used here.
The power is,
Did you literally just interpret it as they have fun and games?
Yes, that's what it's called.
Yes, but the description is they get to do cool stuff with the power that they got.
Well, I mean, Rodney is the power of imagination and love and good parenting to
You
show
gave me shit about showing the monster do interesting gory things. And you're like, Pixie Search, it's fun and games.
But it's
That's how a beat works. Though if I had to make a point about this, I suppose the power here would be Calvin getting power in the situation, though he's being an absolute cock about it.
yeah. Yeah, I guess Calvin is still our main character, so...
Where's your character voice, dear?
What character voice? I'm not an angel! I am doomed and damnated for all damnational doomtitude.
Doomtitude.
Okay, doomtitude. So, second to last beat. Let's get this going, because our students' batteries are running low.
Yes.
Goodness, no! Tea everywhere!
Really?
You spilled tea everywhere!
Really?
All over my heart! No.
Don't tea my heart. Alright, 6.
6,
7 for you.
7, 8, 9. Happy New Year! Yes, we made it! And the B story is... See, I'm just interpreting it from the title again and wasn't even thinking that it has a description, but of course it has a description. Beat 7. B story. The A story revolves around the choice your protagonist made as Act 1 breaks into Act 2. Remember, we've totally talked about acts now. There's a lot of very fun acts you can write and do.
Like Hamlet.
But another subplot ensues, commonly a love story.
Let's see the gay love story between Calvin and Rodney.
No, but I can make it gay. Calvin and Rodney
Gay
are
as
not good.
hell.
Okay, I'll make it gay.
Make it
Make
gay!
it gay. No!
Nope. Power off!
No!
Power off!
Should I just like wrote the B-story character that I wish was the main character now because he's so much more interesting?
Your character voice, darling!
Oh, I'm sorry! Why are you calling me darling?
I don't know.
We are who they will, they won't they?
Who they will, they won't they. Will they, won't they, won't they. Who they will, they won't they. I'm gonna keep writing.
Oh yes.
Done!
Ooh, good, almost. Ow!
Ow.
Ow!
Ow.
Ow! Stop! I just wrote this cunt instead of this count.
Stop! Okay, wait.
Okay, so do you want to break into two for me?
Under the hole, they found themselves in their sewer, running. Their apartment roll 1D100.
Well, what did their apartment roll?
Their,
Is it
apart-
a two?
their apartment had a direct runoff vent that they used to joke was their escape route hatch.
Ooh.
It wasn't a joke anymore. As they ran through the hatch, Jill keeps dragging Jacqueline, who is sobbing and confused. They run through the sewers, hoping to escape. A circle leads them around to a manhole, where they find Brenda standing.
Wait, what's a manhole?
It's the way you get into a sewer. It's called a manhole.
And women can't go through there?
Of course they
That's
can.
sexist. It should be.
Have you never
called a
heard of
human hole.
pegging?
Sex education.
Okay, really.
Brenda is standing there. She's dressed as a high-class escort. Get out, she moans at them. Jacqueline freezes as Brenda marches over.
What?
As Brenda closes in on Jacqueline, Jacqueline reaches to stroke her face. Brenda splits down the middle, opening like a giant mouth, revealing the suffering real Brenda inside, fused to the beast before it can eat Jacqueline. John pushes her out of the way and fires 4 rounds into the real Brenda, putting her out of her misery. As Brenda dies, the creature walks away around her corpse, leaving the main body on the floor. Goodbye, Brenda. I'm sorry.
This is some fucked up shit you got there.
Capitalism is some fucked up shit. B-story!
Wow. Okay, yes, B story. Timothy takes another drag of his cigarette as he listens to the coal mine owner's weak attempt at bullshitting him. He knows the regulations are only for show, knows the accident was completely preventable. His boss briefed him on the details before he left London to discuss the acquisition of this rundown American mine.
Ooh.
I know, he's so much more interesting than Calvin.
Yeah.
Timothy had asked his boss if he intended to fix the safety issues after taking over ownership. He hadn't felt any particular way about it. That's a moral issue, he's aware of that, but the truth is, he couldn't bring himself to feel much about anything anymore. So what if he'd become a loyal servant to the man? At least it kept him comfortable without effort.
Damn.
That was London Timothy. That was Timothy before he'd run into Rodney. He suddenly had a lot of feelings, more feelings than he knew how to handle. He knows the mine owner is bullshitting him, and he's feeling damn strongly about the idea of risking workers' lives now. So anyway, I don't believe your discount proposal in regards to necessary renovations is appropriate. You won't need to renovate anything after taking over. The owner leads Timothy out of his office and up to the viewing area. I beg to differ, my dear gentleman, but an explosion cuts Timothy off. The mine goes up in flames, and Timothy's feelings, way too many of them, go up with it.
Shit! That's a better story. Timothy's compared to Calvin and Rodney, like...
Okay, like, we have something going on with Calvin.
No, of course.
I know that. I don't understand B story very well, I think. Like,
Well, I'm going to write
Well.
it next, so you know.
I do like it though. Like, I feel like it rounds up the story really
It does,
well.
really nicely.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought you were gonna go with the yeah. Instead, you hurt yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
What does that leave for you?
that leaves for me
Enemies closing in.
bad guys closing it. Oh God, with Lillian in the jaw.
Oh
The
God.
polter jaw.
I get to write, a fun, silly B story.
Let's go.
Ooh.
Ooh, I'm ready for plot twist. But I think it works on my structure.
Damn, I love what I did with this. Done!
I'm already proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm already disappointed in you. I mean, characters. Excuse me.
I'm learning something really gross right now. Welcome to my world.
You know what? I actually want to know now what happens next.
Me too.
Students, it is now very dark and deep into the night. Due to all of your running out of battery. How dare you run out of... What did you do?
Making the squeaky noise.
Stop.
Oh, my bad.
All of you all ran out of batteries, so we are now...
For shame.
For shame. Let's do the
time warp again.
Ouch.
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 The streets of New York are in chaos. I'm doing B plot.
Yes, B-plot. It's very good. I don't know it yet. I'm gonna act surprised.
Time warp.
Time warp.
The streets of New York are in chaos. It's going to be the first city to fall. There are flesh creatures running around the streets devouring and replacing people. We see a former gangster standing side by side with a rival gang member, Jerome and Jorge. They are fighting off a wave of possessed flesh cops. Once the authorities, Wall Street, CEOs, and the governing staff of New York had revealed their monstrous form, it was a no-brainer who had kept them fighting, kept them at war with each other. Sure as the possessed clan members they had fought 10 minutes ago were a cause for racial mistrust. They were fighting together to secure the west side of the Brooklyn Bridge. The disenfranchised had set up a refugee camp on the bridge, and thanks to local gangs and activists, they had all kept themselves safe. But for how long could they hold out?
Damn, this is better the second time around.
It is,
Like, you
right?
should rewind it and just listen to it again.
Yes,
'cause-
listen to it watch the whole video 3 times.
I mean, now you're just promoting this angel channel we went to.
Want to get to heaven.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, help us! This is really good though, and I was right, I said last time and I will say it again now, because you didn't hear it, that it's actually really interesting how the B story here summed up the story and leaves it at a really good, interesting point, and now I actually have the last beat of this part, and it also sums up the story and leaves it at an interesting point. So,
Tell
yeah.
us your secrets.
So, well, but it's...
Yes, no, it's
nice
very
and
amazing how it all rounds up together like this.
Yes, yes. Okay. 10. Bad guys closing in.
Dun dun dun.
So it ended with Daddy, Daddy, my jaw hurts.
Oh god.
Yes. Calvin sits up, taking a moment to orient himself. It'll be fine, Lillian, he mumbles as the colors around him slowly attach back to their appropriate objects.
Dear God.
They fell into the underbelly of the mine. Not too steep, but he's uncertain how to find his way out of it now. Daddy? You never truly listen, do you?
This is unsettling.
It was a strange thing for Lillian to say, and even stranger, she sucked her teeth with each word. He rubbed his eyes and turned to her. Are you injured, Hunt? The horrible sight in front of him cuts off his words. Lillian's eyes are wide, scared, but her mouth tells a different story. Her jaws unlocked, gaping wide open. Her lips twitch around the bizarrely large opening, fletching her teeth in the rhythm. What?
That is horrifying.
He was never going to finish that sentence, not with the throat the 6-year-old ripped out of him. Calvin gargles just long enough to comprehend that his precious daughter has torn him apart. Then he falls to the ground lifeless.
I can't say I'm going to miss him.
Lillian howls, half conscious of the tragedy, half devoured by hunger. Lillian, are you down there? She howls once more. Don't worry, Uncle Rodney is coming! A doomed voice yells from above her.
Dear God, no! But I recently found out that he has a love interest. I care about him now.
I know! See, that's the beautiful thing about Save the Cat and about establishing a love interest. You know, if you have people that care about your characters.
It's true. I imagine
care
without
about the
the
characters.
B storyline, this would not have even been set up this way. And this
Exactly.
kind of makes all the difference.
Yes.
Save the cat saves the day. What I'm realizing through this video that we're doing here is that Save the Cat, acting as an initial framework for how you put a story together, maybe not something you aim for to have as your final product, but when you just have an idea and you're trying to figure out how to put it on paper, it can be really helpful to help you find some nuances in it that you hadn't expected, because you're being forced to pick a B plot or forced to write a midpoint or a turn, when previously you just had a concept. This might help you flesh it out and build a framework to write from, but I think it's intensely limiting when you reach the point of writing specifically for it into final drafts. I think it has a very good purpose for building that initial idea though, as we can see through these games that we're playing right now.
Next week we're going over the last 5 beats, which are,
Tell me!
yes.
All is lost!
Oh yes. It feels like that, doesn't it?
Dark Night of the Soul! It is rather dark tonight.
Yes.
Break into 3!
Ah, because it's the third thing we're
yes!
doing.
Final image! Save the cat beat sheet example!
No, that's not part of it.
You have to include a beat sheet example in all of your scripts. The end!
Ooh.
Good night!
Good night.
Until tomorrow! Thank you so much for joining us this week.
Thank you.
Look forward to one more week of these damn souls suffering to teach remedial writing. You can find all pertinent links down below. Expect that after next week's video we'll be returning to the standard uplifting writing advice,
My
guidance,
angels.
good luck, and we love you.
Please comment down below.
Ring the bell!
And subscribe.
Subscribe or fall to the bowels of hell. And don't forget to share a link with friends. Happy Halloween! You want to go get lunch?
Oh, yes, please.
Freude schöner Götter, Funken, Tochter aus Elin.